Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Okay, so let's talk about volume in this video, and there's two different types of volume that I want to explain to you and talk to you about when it comes to volume. Firstly, volume is an indication of how many shares have been bought and sold within a particular share or an index or whatever you want to trade at that time. Now, volume is very, very, very important with an entry signal. As you get into the trading systems, volume is very, very, very important. We need an increase in volume for the bullish setups and the bearish setups. Yep, we want the market to go up and we want the market to go down setups, basically. So that's the first thing I do say with volume. You always want an increase in volume. You can see here that we have this big spike in volume. Okay, big spike in volume, an increase in volume. We're looking for these increasing volumes with an entry signal. So we want that, okay? Now, here is the thing that I do say also about volume. Volume can be a very clear and key indicator to actually show you and share with you what's going on. And a great example is of what the stock that I'm looking at right now in the chart. Okay, what can happen was this, and if we have a look at this chart here, we can actually see, look at this here. So as you see this move up, this move has gone up through here, but can you see how, if you look at the average, see how the volume just continue to go up through there? As this move was going up, we started getting a bit more spikes in volume, higher and higher and higher in volume. But have you noticed that if we actually, let me just change the color on this to like a blue. Have you noticed this section through here, as this market's been going down, the volume has also been tapering down as well too. So what does that mean? That means that through this up move through here, we had a lot of volume coming through. And as this market's pulling back, we're not getting a lot of volume. That simply says to me that that because we're having the correlation between the volume and the price. So price is going down, but there's not a lot of volume through there. And so you can see here a lot of volume through this section through here, and then as the market's gone up, coming back down. So if this section through here had a nice little breakout bar up here, and we started getting some spikes, well then I would expect the market to do this again. Okay, so as the market's going back up again, because there's volume coming back into that. Okay, so as the market, there's volume coming into this, and then it's having a breather, and the volumes come back out, and then the volume comes back in, and guess what? As the volume comes back in, you start to get this sort of spiking action through here, and guess what happens to the price? The price is likely to start doing that again. Makes sense? So that's the correlation between volume and price. It's very, very, very key to watch that on the actual charts, and especially like right now, what we're getting, if you can get a trading setup where the market is pulled back on the charts, and you're getting this sort of decrease in volume, then suddenly the market breaks out like that and you get a spike in volume. That's a very good clear indication when we've had this. When the market went for a run, we had the volume was starting to increase. As the market pulled back, the volume's decreasing. So as the market pops up like here and starts to do that, we should start to get some volume behind it. If that does happen, then we're likely to see the market run up. Make sense? And that happens for the flip side as well. Let me see if I can go back in time to see if I can show you an analogy of this here. So it doesn't happen all the time, but when you start to notice it, it definitely is a key indication of what is happening on that charts. Makes sense? So like for example here, okay, you can see that if you look at this volume overall, we've had this sort of run up through there. Okay, I had this run up through there, but see how this volume overall is tapering down through there, and we've had this run up through here. But if I start to bring this forward a little bit, you can start to see how we're getting some spikes in volumes through here, some spike in volume, and as that spike in volume's happening, we're starting to get this downward move. So that's not a really good example, but overall, guys, it's really, really, really important to use volume. Okay, it's really important to use volume. It's really important to use it for your entry signals, so make sure there's volume behind it, but then also use it in conjunction of reading the price action, meaning this whole move went from the bottom to the high and we had volume behind it. That's supporting, that's what you want to see. And then the market's pulled back through here. Okay, the market's pulled back and the volume's going down. So if we wanted this market to continue on up, what would you want to see with the volume? You want to see the volume coming in, because now there's volume coming in, there's buying coming in, and it's likely to keep pushing it to the high side. Make sense? So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Go to your charts and start to look at this sort of correlation between, obviously correlation with the entry signals. Make sure that there's that with your entry signals, make sure that you're getting good volume. But then also look at the correlation between price. Look at all different charts and start to notice this, because when you start to identify what's happening on the chart and the volume, it's telling you a story. What is this telling me? Well, one, we had this big move up and we had a lot of volume coming through there. Then we've had this big move, or had sort of a slow move down, and the volume's tapering out. What's that saying? Well, the strength is in the up move, and there's not a lot of volume through here. We get a breakout through here with good volume. It's likely to see more upside from there. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.